Good morning, my dear students. So in this class, I'm going to tell you about the brief introduction of Module 1. Okay, and the following topics we need to study. That is the static force analysis, dynamic force analysis, shaper mechanism, D'Alembert principle, and basic some definition related to this. Okay, so in this Module 1, that is the static and dynamic force analysis. So the main importance of this module is how we are going to transmit the forces from one element to the another element in mechanical devices. Okay, that you need to study in detail. Okay, then what is the meaning of static force analysis and dynamic force analysis, and what is the importance of force analysis in machine design, that is what the mechanical devices. Okay, and with the help of this we are going to use to analyze these type of forces, we are going to use what D'Alembert principle and basic some related definition with respect to this static and dynamic force analysis. Okay, so let me understand first what do you mean by force analysis, why we require a force analysis in machine devices, that is what in mechanical devices. Okay, so if take any mechanical device or mechanical element, the main use of doing the force analysis is to transmit the motion from one component to another component. That is the first use. Okay, that is the first purpose. Okay, and the force also, suppose if there are two links are connected in a mechanical devices, how you are going to transmit the forces from one element to another element. Okay, and we know the magnitude and direction, and we need to study you need to select the proper size. Okay, if you want to select the proper size means it will withstand the stresses for the longer life. Okay, because of these reasons we need to study the force analysis. Okay, I will repeat. So what is the use of, or what is the why we are going to study this force analysis? Because the first is, what is the first condition, we need to transmit the forces from one element to another element, and what are the forces exist between the two link element. Okay, that is the how we are going to transmit the from force from piston to crankshaft. Okay, piston to connecting rod. Okay, like that we need to because of that we need to study this force analysis chapter, and magnitude and direction. Okay, what is the magnitude of that particular link element 1 or 2? Okay, and to know the direction, and to select the proper size to withstand the stresses for the mechanical device for longer life. Okay, because of these reasons we need to study the force analysis okay, in this machine, and that is what in the static and dynamic load, that is the dynamic force analysis. Okay, so next one is what do you mean by the static force analysis? Okay, I told you beginning what do you mean by static means it is a rest in position. Okay, the object which is in rest is, we are going to say that component is a static. Okay, so here look at the diagram here. This is a crane hook, that is what this is a lifting a crane. Okay, so first let me understand definition what you mean by static force analysis. Okay, if you take any mechanical devices, okay, we are not going to consider the inertia effect. Okay, then the such type of analysis we are going to call as static force analysis. Okay, so here I wrote the definition. So when the magnitude of inertia forces are very small as compared to the external applied load, then the inertia force can be neglected during the process or analysis of the mechanism. Okay, such analysis we are going to call as static force analysis. Okay, what is the inertia force, and why we want to neglect this? Okay, look at the here, the best example for this is the lifting the crane. Okay, so here we are applying the external load, but the inertia forces will be produced in the crane or chain hook. Okay, in this we are neglecting the for inertia forces produced in the chain or this hook, but we are going to consider only the external forces. Okay, such type of forces, such type of analysis or process we are going to call as the static force analysis. Okay, so best example is the lifting crane. Okay, so here I mentioned here inertia forces can be neglected, only the external force we are going to consider. Okay, such type of the process or analysis we are going to call as what, the static force analysis. Okay, look at this, the here the only the external load we are going to consider, we are going to use. Okay, but the inertia forces produced in this mechanical these devices, either in the crane or that is in the chain or the hook. Okay, we are going to neglecting that. Okay, but we are going to use only this. Okay, such type of analysis we are going to call as static force analysis. Okay, so that is the best example for is the lifting crane. Okay, so just to remember in this slide, static force means we are going to neglecting the inertia forces, only we are going to consider the external forces. Okay, such type of analysis we are going to call as static force analysis. Okay, so next one is the next definition comes the dynamic force analysis. Okay, what do you mean by dynamic force analysis? Okay, dynamic means I told the motion. Okay, the forces, that is what the motion object, that is the component which is in motion, that we are going to call as the dynamic. Okay, so here in this case we are going to consider the both the inertia effect and then external forces. Okay, if you are going to consider the both the forces, then we are going to call as dynamic force analysis. Okay, In the static force we are going to neglect in the inertia forces, whereas in the dynamic force we are going to consider the inertia effect with respect to that component. Okay, and the addition, that is what external forces. Okay, both we are going to consider, and doing the analysis is called as dynamic force analysis. Okay, best example is IC engine. Okay, so if you take any mechanical component where there is a acceleration, there acceleration will be there, so in that component the inertia forces will be going go to inertia force going to set up. Okay, so because of their the present in the masses. Okay, so where we are going to consider both, that is inertia effect as well as this external load. Okay, so such type of analysis we are going to call as the dynamic force analysis. Okay, here in the dynamic force analysis we are going to consider what both, that is acceleration and masses. Okay, look at this, okay, accelerating the masses. Okay, so dynamic force are associated or related with accelerating the masses. We are going to consider both, that is inertia and as well as what the external load. Okay, so in the IC engine we are going to use both. Okay, so just such type of analysis we are going to call as dynamic force analysis. Okay, so this that is the difference between the static and the dynamic. Means in the static we are not going to consider the inertia effect, but whereas in the dynamic forces we are going to consider what the external, both, that is inertia as well as what the external load. Okay, so static means that is not in complete balance. Okay, that is not in still that is in a unbalance and vibration takes place, whereas in the dynamic force means it should be under full balance condition. Okay, that you have to remember. Okay, so look at here some definition related to this. Okay, static load means what? Here a person is there, a person carrying some books, but he is standing still, but he is not moving. Okay, the force along with the gravitational, along with moving the down, that is that force is going to call as static load. Okay, what do you mean by static load? So here the person, look at this first diagram, a person is carrying some books, or okay, some books, but he is standing, he is not moving. Okay, the force produced along with this okay, with respect to gravity, that is with respect to weight, that force we are going to call as static load. Okay, dynamic load means what? The same person having carries some books, but he is a moving condition. Okay, the force along with the gravitational, that is the moving force, is called as dynamic load. Okay, the internal resistance. Okay, so internal resistance means what? Okay, so this concept I am going to use while solving the problems. Okay, the stationary part is, that stationary component we are going to say that the static load, and the dynamic load means the moving object. Okay, so in while solving the problems, if the element is rotating, that I am going to consider this, that is what we are going to say that the dynamic load. Okay, that this hint I am going to use. Okay, and what do you mean by internal resistance? Okay, what do you mean by internal resistance means what? Here the person is sitting, person is sat on the bicycle, so the tire is filled with air gas. Okay, when he pushes this, the air gas present in the tire, it will opposes his weight. Okay, that is going to call as the internal resistance. Okay, so this is about the three different definitions. Okay, the next one is what do you mean by constraint forces? Okay, so this is also very important. Constraint forces nothing but what? Here it is a pair of a pair of action and a reaction forces which constrain what the two connected bodies to behave in a particular manner depending upon the nature of the connections are known as constraint forces. Okay, so look at here the diagram. Here two forces will be there, so the two forces are meeting at a point. Okay, there is a constraint. Okay, it will there is no resistance between these two elements. Okay, such type of forces or such type of link we are going to call as constraint force. Okay, just you remember this, it is a pair of the action and reaction forces which constrain the two connected body. Okay, it will connect from this constraint, we are going to connect the two different forces. Okay, that is called as constraint forces. Okay, what do you mean by applied force? So consider a body or a system or a mass upon which you are going to apply some external. Okay, so this external force may be either physical contact or non-physical contact. Okay, even if you consider the electric motor, that is a non-physical. If you take the any mechanical devices, we are going to apply, or we are going to touch this mass element within some external load, that is called as a physical contact force. Okay, so this is called as applied force. Okay, these four definitions I am going to use while solving the problem, and that's why I am going to define these definitions. Okay, so next one is the free body diagram. Okay, so what do you mean by free body diagram? So that free body diagram, it is shortly denoted as FBD. So this is very important while solving the problem. Okay, so FBD, that is free body diagram, is a rough sketch or a sketch or a diagram of a part of isolated from the mechanism in order to determine the nature of forces acting on it. Okay, is called as free body diagram. That means what? A number of forces acting on a given any mechanical devices, we are going to isolate the forces and we are going to draw with a what the in detail. Okay, so that is called as the free body diagram. And that means what, it shows the all the forces of individual forces acting on that along with the movement of the body is called as free body diagram. Okay, so free body diagram is a sketch or a diagram of a part isolated from the mechanism, or that is the given question, in order to determine the in detail the nature of forces acting on that is called as a free body diagram. Okay, otherwise the another definition is it will show the all the forces and moment acting on the particular body. Okay, that is what the free body diagram. Okay, so this is very important, D'Alembert principle. They may ask you two more question, what do you mean by D'Alembert principle anta. Okay, if you take any mechanical devices on which we are going to consider both, that is what here we are going to consider the both, that is inertia forces and inertia torque. Okay, if you add both that is what inertia forces and the torque in a given mechanical devices, we are going to get what the D'Alembert principle. Okay, that means what, the inertia forces and the couples and the external forces and the torque on a body together give the static equilibrium. Okay, that means inertia torque and the inertia moment, that is we are going to getting the final resultant. Then if you apply those on a given condition, that is given mechanical device, then we are going to say that body is in static equilibrium. That is what, okay na, that is called as the D'Alembert principle. Otherwise you remember that the summation of inertia forces and the external forces going to call as D'Alembert principle. Okay, that is the inertia forces. Here I wrote here, this is F is equal to minus ma. Okay, where m is a mass of the body and a is the acceleration. Okay, the negative sign indicate that the forces acting opposite direction to the that of the acceleration. Okay, so you remember this formula, inertia force is equal to minus m into a. Okay, so here just to remember that the D'Alembert principle, nothing but here I wrote here D'Alembert principle means here the resultant of torque and the resultant of forces we are going to add in the given particular component, then the body is in static equilibrium. Okay, so that is called as D'Alembert principle. Okay, so next one is a shaper mechanism. So this is also very important, but so far this question is not asked in the examination. Okay, what do you mean by shaper? Okay, so a shaper is a type of machine tool okay, that uses the linear relative motion between the workpiece and a single point cutting tool to the linear tool path. Okay, it is cut to the analogous to that the lathe, or except that it is a linear instead of the helical. Okay, so shaper nothing but what, so the main use of this shaper machine is where the roughness is there, we are going to use what, the smoothness. Okay, with the help of this shaper machine. Okay, so figure shows the mechanism of the shaper machine, how that going to work. Okay, so this part is fixed, one part is fixed and this part is fixed, this is a ram. Okay, so at the last is a tool. Okay, from this point to this point, if the stroke takes place. Okay, so here the cutting, this is what the cutting tool. Here the shaper machine we are going to use a single point cutting tool. Okay, so in this and below this cutting tool, this is a table will be there. Okay, in this table we are going to fix the what, the workpiece. Okay, so here this is a one, if this is a ram. Okay, if after switch on the given machine, that is shaper machine, the reciprocating takes place. Okay, during reciprocating position, the cutting tool, the moment of this tool moment will be that is what, it will cut the given material. Okay, so here in the below, here in the below of the tool field, that is a cutting tool, there will be a table will be fixed externally. Okay, on which there is a what, we are going to fix the workpiece. Okay, so normally in the shaper machine, what in the shaper machine we are going to use the single point cutting tool. Okay, how it will work means, so here the single point cutting tool going to fix rigidly in this element, that is in the tool. Okay, a single point cutting tool is rigidly held in the tool holder. Okay, within mounted on this ram. Okay, the workpiece is rigidly held in a vise or what in a given the table. Okay, so next one is the table may be supported at the outer, that is a what, externally supported. Okay, here. Okay, the when the ram reciprocate, okay, the tool movement, that cutting tool movement takes place. Okay, when this will this is called as ram, and when this ram will be reciprocate, the tool movement takes place, that is it will insert into the what, this the workpiece present in this on this table. Okay, it will remove the material. Okay, in standard shape, normally in the standard shaper machine, the cutting material takes place during the forward stroke only, but in this case we are going to take the forward and backward cutting tool also. Okay, so the depth of the cut of the incremental by moving the workpiece, and the workpiece is feed downward. Okay, and with the help of that what, the ratchet, that is what, the ratchet mechanism. Okay, like this the cutting material takes place. That is what this is the shaper mechanism. Okay, so I will repeat how the material going to cut here. So this is a one fixed point, this is a one fixed point. Okay, so this is a ram will be there. Okay, so this is a cutting tool and the tool feed. Okay, so here and here in the below table, that is a down of this cutting tool, there is a externally a there is a what externally loaded, that is externally table will be fixed, upon which there will be a workpiece will fixed. Okay, that workpiece is going to fixed on the workpiece is going to mounted on that. Okay, so when the reciprocate takes place, this, that is a linear movement takes place, the cutting tool feed into the workpiece, it will cut the material. Okay, that's it. Okay, so in the in the standard shaper machine, the cutting tool, that is what the material removal takes place when only in the forward direction. Okay, but in the normally it will cutting material takes place in the both the direction, that is forward and the backward direction. Okay, so this is about the shaper mechanism. So in this what we need to study is what you mean by shaper and what are the shaper mechanism. Okay, so we need to solve problems on this. Okay, so you have to remember in this PPT what you mean by D'Alembert principle. Okay, and the freeboard, there's some basic definition what you mean by static load, dynamic load, and the internal resistance, and the static force analysis, dynamic force analysis. Okay, static means what, in the static force analysis we are not going to consider what the inertia forces, whereas in the dynamic force we are going to consider the both the dynamic forces and inner what the external forces. Okay, so here the best example for lifting the crane. So okay, for dynamic force nothing but what the IC engine. Okay, I hope you understand this introduction. Okay, that is a static force, dynamic, D'Alembert principle, shaper mechanism. Okay, okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, next class we will solve the numerical problems. Okay, thank you.